C'est Louis, oui, favorite.
Hey, what's going on? I am LeVay Reed. I made this piece which makes me the artist, and I wanted to talk about it with y'all. So over the course of last year, whenever I would post my artwork, I would have a bunch of people commenting like, hey, what's the meaning behind this piece? Can you tell me about this? What's your interpretation of this piece that you made? And then I was like, okay, well, I'll make a video about it and I'll talk about it. But then I just never do, right? So this year I want to do a better job of, really explaining my pieces, what is my intention, and I guess more so my thought process going into the piece as well. So this piece is titled The Spectator of Life and Death. And I made this piece to really highlight certain aspects of the human condition, more so of life and death, and pretty much what it means to be somewhat of a spectator of that. The overall concept that I was trying to illustrate with this piece is just to be an observer of something that dies, but then watching something be born from that death, from the grief that you may feel within that moment too. Usually with all of my pieces, they come from a personal place, so it makes me more fitted to speak on those subjects. But with this piece specifically, it's less about me, but more so about the woman I've illustrated within the piece. I've drawn this woman like maybe, I guess 3 or 4 times that you guys actually know about, because because I've drawn her quite frequently within my sketchbooks and stuff, but incorporating her into like actual pieces, I've only done that like maybe a few times. And so this piece is more so about her than it is about me. Although it does have like some personal significance to me, it's not really too much about me. I, much like everyone else, has experienced the death of a loved one and like the grief process going through that. And then much like everybody else, I've also witnessed a beautiful thing being born afterwards. So it's kind of like how, how they say that you can't grow flowers without a little rain. It's more so like that. Within this piece, I have the skull that represents death, and then I have flowers blooming out of it to represent life being born from that skull. You know what I mean? Going through the process of actually making this piece, I heavily considered the emotional aspect and the thought process of actually witnessing such things occur in life. And I couldn't really imagine having to feel a heaviness of happiness or sadness, sorrowful, as you're watching events like this take place within your life. So I gave her a simple blank expression, but her eyes are clearly fixated on what is going on. It has her attention, and it almost feels like she's mourning, because that's kind of the vibe that I was really going for, and that's why she's dressed in all black. And the background is very black as well. It's very dark, has a lot of dark undertones going into it. I feel like this piece specifically stirs up a lot of different emotions within me. And the context is that I feel as though that I'm also a spectator of not only of just life and death, but like everything within the human condition. Because most times I feel like I'm kind of separated from the world and I'm just watching everything go by, in a sense. I've felt that way for like years, so maybe since like 2022, right? Maybe even before that. Like I often feel like I'm watching my life go by. I'm watching all the friends I grew up with, they're getting married, they're having babies, they're doing all these crazy things with their life. And, I look at myself and I think about what is going on with my life? Like, what am I out here doing? But it's more so is that I'm, in a sense, jealous, because I kind of have a feeling that life is not for me. The dreams of getting married, having a family, the whole American dream is simply just not for me. it's just simply not meant for me. When I think about my ultimate goal, my purpose that God has given to me, I feel as though that I have to kind of put everything into it. And that's something that I'm going to do. I'm willing to sacrifice everything just to actually accomplish this goal of mine. And it just means that I'm gonna have to really miss out on certain aspects of life, the things that I deeply crave for essentially a higher purpose. Now, I definitely don't have all the answers. This is, again, just a gut feeling of mine, and the relationship I have with God. But I don't know, it feels so right. Because, not gonna lie, I'm way too good at just being alone. I'm great at it. Like, I'm cool with just going out by myself, doing my own thing. Like, I go to art galleries by myself. I go to poetry slams by myself. I go to the movies by myself. Go out to eat by myself. I'll go to comic book stores. I'll do whatever. I'm cool with just doing me and being by myself. I've never really been the type to be, I guess, that social. I've never really been good at that. When I really think about it, I've never been very good at, I guess, keeping the relationships that I have within my life. As much as I try and put myself out there, things just don't necessarily fall into place. So it just feels right when I think about, hey, this life may not be for you, because this is the path that you have to take. And I guess I should probably elaborate on what this path is and what it necessarily means for me. What this path is just essentially me keeping my head down and producing artwork constantly, trying to push out pushing out a message or telling a story. If this is your first time viewing my work or just being introduced to me, my goal is to be the greatest artist of all time. Just to be as great as I can be and have my name up there with the greats like Vincent van Gogh, Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, Caravaggio, Salvador Dali, etc., etc. I want my name right with them whenever you think of great artists. And then oftentimes you have to think about, what does it mean to be great? What does it even mean to be an artist, first and foremost? Am I an artist just because I pick up a pencil or paintbrush and paper and a canvas? Does that make me an artist? And if so, what makes me a great artist? Especially since art nowadays is just so there's a word that I'm looking for. I can't think of it, but it's very broad. It's very objective, subjective. I don't know what word I'm looking for, but if people can simply splash paint on a canvas, and it can be considered a great art piece throughout generations. So when you think of it like that, what does it really mean to be great? Honestly, I haven't come up with an answer to that, but I just know what the path that I'm going down just feels so right. The potential that I have with the gift that God has given me, I feel like there's no way that I can lose, but I have to put my all into it, which means sleepless nights, maybe even skipping meals, not going out, not having fun, just really focusing on two things in my life, and that is God and that is my art. And when I think about it like that, it feels like I have a great passion within me to fulfill my purpose and complete these goals of mine. Really, if I'm being honest, my art is probably the greatest thing I can actually contribute to this world, to anybody's lives. My work has a lot of power within it. I think you can go back and look at some of my older pieces and you tell wow, this work is very powerful. It speaks volumes. It's eye-catching, but it's also captivating in the sense that you just don't want to look away, because you're trying to figure out everything that is going on within this piece, and that's something I'm trying to do more of in 2025. With this piece specifically, I don't think it has any, I guess you could say, cultural significance. Perhaps it means something to somebody who feels the same way as me, or feels the same that they're just watching these events go by. Therefore, this may not be a piece that will exactly relate to anybody. Maybe just to a specific few. I think one thing for sure, I would like to know your guys' interpretation of the piece. What does it exactly kind of mean to you? What emotion it stirs within you? I love how kind of dark, I love how dark and eerie it is. But I guess you could say that about most of my pieces anyway. I just love how within this piece I made her stare so emotionless, but it's also filled with such heavy emotion at the same time, if that makes sense. It's like you can almost picture what she's actually thinking. Like what thoughts are actually going through her head as she's looking at the skull and the flowers. Not really knowing whether she should feel such joy or feel sorrow. Perhaps all she knows is that she has to continue on living. Maybe continue being this spectator of everything that is going on. And perhaps that's the same thing for me as well. I'm just simply meant to observe and not really get involved. I'm supposed to observe, and I guess in a sense I'm recording by making these art pieces, works of art. But yeah, that's really all the information I have for this piece. If you guys enjoy this piece and want to know more, feel free to just hop on my website, type that up in a little blog. You can find it on there. And if you're interested in purchasing this piece and want to take it home, put it on your wall or something, I will be selling prints of this piece as well as the original. Same thing, all you have to do is go up to my website, check it out, it's all over there. And yeah, I think that's it. I appreciate you staying to the end of this video. I hope you like it. If you do like it, go ahead and press that like button. Even subscribe, just so you can tune into my other videos I have coming up. Yeah, without further ado, I'll catch y'all in the next video, man.